Hey guys, and welcome to Clan Campbell's additional mathematics series, presenting episode 2, topic Algebra Part 2. The things we should cover in this episode: explanation of polynomial, multiplication and division of polynomials. So what is polynomial? So polynomials come from poly, meaning many, and nomial in this case meaning term. So it says many terms. An example of how a polynomial should look like. So in this polynomial here, it consists of 3 terms. So a polynomial can have constants like 3, -20 or half, variables like x and y, exponents like 2 in y squared, but only 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. are allowed that can be combined using addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, except division by a variable. So something like 2 over x is not allowed. So a polynomial can have constants, variable, and exponents, but never a division by a variable. So polynomial continue. So polynomial or not, this is an example of polynomials, while these are examples of non-polynomial terms. So here the exponent is not into this set, so this is not a polynomial. And in this set, the polynomial is this expression. In this expression, this is being divided by a variable, so therefore it cannot be a polynomial. So here are examples of polynomials: 3x, x minus 2 minus 6y squared minus 7 over 9x, 3xyz plus 3xy squared z minus 0.xz minus 200y plus 0.5, 512v to the 5 plus 99w to the 5, and 5. Yes, 5 is a polynomial. One term is allowed, and it can be even just a constant. So these are examples of non-polynomial terms. So 3xy to the -2 is not, because the exponent is -2, and exponents can only be of 0, 1, 2, etc. 2 divided by x plus 2 is not, because dividing by a variable is not allowed. 1 over x is not either, because of the same condition here. Root x is not, because the exponent is a half. So anything, so the root of any term or constant is the exponent is a half. But these are allowed. X over 2 is allowed because you can divide by a constant. Also 3x over 8 for the same reason. Root 2 is allowed because it is a constant, which is equivalent to the decimal 1.4142, etc. So the types of polynomials. So you have monomial, binomial, trinomial. There are special names for polynomials with 1, 2, or 3 terms. So this is the monomial, the 1 term, binomial, the 2 terms, and the trinomial, the 3 terms. And ways you can remember it is remembering the names of cycles like monocycle, bicycle, and tricycle. There is also quadrinomial, 4 terms, and quinomial, 5 terms, but those names are not often used. So what is special about polynomials? Because of the strict definition, polynomials are easy to work with. For example, we know that if you add polynomials, you get a polynomial. If you multiply polynomials, you get a polynomial. So you can do a lot of things, additions and multiplications, and still have a polynomial as a result. So we're discussing the degree of a polynomial term. So the degree of a polynomial with only one variable is the largest exponent of that variable. So for example, 4x cubed minus x plus 3. The degree of this polynomial is 3. the logic exponent. So we're at the multiplication of polynomials. So when polynomials are multiplied, the powers of the same base are added. And just to refresh on the base, the coefficient, and the power of polynomial terms. So this is how the operation is done. So when you multiply these polynomials, you add the polynomial indexes of the same base. So ax to the n times ax to the n would equal to ax to the n plus n. So now we're going to start off with an example of multiplication of polynomials. So we're going to simplify the following polynomial expressions. So the first one, 12x squared y cubed z times 3xy. And as you can see, I color coded the polynomial expression so they can differentiate between the coefficient, the exponent, and the base. So red is for the coefficient, blue is for the base, and black is the index. So when we're working it out, we'd multiply by the coefficients as normal, times by finding the variable of the same base. When we multiply, we're going to add the index. So note that a variable that doesn't display an index are all considered being raised to the 1. So when we're multiplying x squared times x, it will be x squared plus 1. Same for y. It would be y cubed times y would be y to the 3 plus 1. And z has no common base, so it be multiplied to the other expressions, or it will be multiplied to the other terms. After simplifying it, 12 times 3 will be 36. This would be x cubed, and this would be y to the 4 z. So this is the answer. The next one, 4x squared y times negative 3xy times negative 2xy cubed. So when we're doing this now, we're going to multiply by the coefficients first. So 4 times negative 3 times negative 2. A negative by a negative is positive, so this is negative 6 times 4 times x squared times x times x. So that would be x to the 2 plus 1 plus 1. And for y, this would be y times y cubed. That would be y to the 1 plus 3. And the answer would be 24 x to the 4 y to the 5. Now we're at the division of polynomials. So when polynomials are divided, the power of the divisor, denominator, is subtracted from the power of the dividend, numerator, with the same base. So coefficient, just a reminder of how the polynomial is to be set up. So when we're doing the division, or this is the operation, so a to the x to the n divided by a to the x to the y of the same base, it will be a to the x n minus y. Now we're going to start off with examples of diffusion. So we're going to simplify the polynomial expressions. So the first one is 18x to the 4 y cubed z divided by 6x squared y squared. So doing this operation, first we will divide the coefficients, then we will find the same base, and now we are starting with x. So x to the 4 divided by x squared will be x to the 4 minus 2, and y cubed will be divided by y squared, and that would be y to the 3 minus 2, and z has no common term, or common base to divide with, so it would remain the same. And the answer would be 18 divided by 6 is 3. X to the 4 minus 2 would be x squared. Y to the 3 minus 2 would be y. And z would be z. And that's the answer. Next we have 25x cubed y to the 4 divided by negative 5 xy cubed. So we do the coefficients first. So that would be 25 divided by negative 5. X cubed divided by x would be x to the 3 minus 1. And y to the 4 divided by y to the 3 would be y to the 4 minus 3. And dividing a positive by a negative would be negative, so that would be negative 5. So x to the 3 minus 1 would be x squared, and y to the 4 minus 3 would be y. And the answer would be this. So thank you guys, this is the end of the video. Please like the video if you enjoyed it and share it to your friends who really need this video. And don't forget to click that subscribe button for more videos like this. Bye.